What's up, everybody? It's Big Jack and Glenn back with another best bets of the NFL weekend video. Big Jack's off to a little bit of a slow start here on the season. He's 1-4-1 through 2 weeks. I'm 3-3 on the other hand, so that's a good, decent enough start for me. I'll take it. Uh, Big Jack, how you feeling heading into week 3 here?
Got to start getting a little better at some point. Last week, I don't know, it was not horrible. Seahawks lost by the hook in an overtime game that, you know, feel like they could have covered multiple different opportunities. The Broncos game was ugly. Bo Nix just threw a wretched interception deep in the red zone. I think they're on the 3 yard line or something, and just didn't see a guy that was dropped in zone coverage. It was tough. And then obviously the other game was, no sweat winner with the Vikings taking care of business against the 49ers, winning outright. I had them at +6. It moved all the way down to 4.5 by the time it kicked. But that was a good pick. Best one of the year, only winner of the year, unfortunately. But, long ways to go. It's a long season, 18 weeks, and, got 16 of them left. Hopefully we can start trending in a much better direction going forward.
Oh yeah, brother. Um, if people aren't familiar with our channel, Jack has historically through the 3 years we've done this been really good. Winners every year. But last year he started out slow too. So the man can make a comeback. He can hit his stride somewhere in the season. Let's get that started week 3. So with that being said, I'll hop into my first pick of the week. Um, Houston Texans got a lot of hype. They are going to Minnesota. Minnesota looks really good. Sam Darnold's playing some good football. They're a well-coached team. They're getting, they're getting 2 points at home. I think the Texans are a very beatable team. Not in a must-win spot. Obviously, both these teams are 2-0. I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings at home, coming off that big win over San Francisco. Um, I think I'm just a believer in their staff. I think Brian Flores is going to have that defense playing really tough, and I think they'll do enough on offense. That also, they have a pretty solid offensive line, in my opinion, to go with that defense is pretty tough. Um, I like the Vikings to win that game outright. Minnesota +2 at home versus the Texans. That's my first pick of the week.
I like it. I'm was pretty high on the Vikings every time we've brought them up, and they've looked great so far. Sam Darnold, a little bit of a resurgence and a good system with Kevin O'Connell, who I think is a upper echelon type coach, and they're doing a lot of good things in Minnesota. Like you said, Brian Flores, because of his past, I don't know if he'll ever get another head coaching shot given his history of suing his employer, but he's a hell of a coordinator, man, and he brings the funk on the defensive side of the ball. They're going to be bringing it. The blitz pressure is heavy on C.J. Stroud. I'm not too familiar with how he handles blitzes, but I feel like a lot of time blitz goes hand in hand with some sort of man coverage. So I think that could bode well for the Vikings. I like the play. It's a tight number. Everyone loves, the Texans. They might think they're getting a cheap price on them, and Minnesota, they got to be beaming with confidence after that 49ers beatdown. The only thing that I have any hesitation on is I don't know if Justin Jefferson is playing. I can't pretend that I've really looked too much into his injury. This game wasn't really something I dug deep into personally. I think it's probably one of the better games of the weekend. But as far as picking a side, it wasn't, something I felt great about. So I don't know if Justin Jefferson's playing. If he is, I really like the Vikings. If not, he's obviously one of those guys who's quite a difference maker. So we'll see. Do you know if he's playing?
About to look that up right now. It's a little embarrassing. I don't know for sure, but
Nah, no worries. While you're looking that up, I'll go ahead and get into mine. I'm actually getting ugly this week. Um, I don't know why. I just feel like this number is tight. And the Packers looked great against the Colts at home. I think Matt LaFleur, just like I was saying about Kevin O'Connell, unfortunately, both in the division, two of the top tier coaches. I'm going to take the Titans at home -2. I saw Jordan Love return to practice today. I guess there's a slight chance he plays, and maybe this number looks a lot different, and I'm really just kicking myself before it even gets underway. But I like what the Titans have done. They should have beaten the Bears. They could have very easily won that game against the Jets. That defensive front is no joke. I don't think the Packers are going to be able to steamroll the ball all over them the way they did to the Colts front up in Lambeau over the weekend. I just think Tennessee is solid. And Will Levis, as bad as he's been, there's no way he's going to throw a fumble backwards 3 weeks in a row. He did it against the Bears. He did it against the Jets deep in the red zone. He's had some bonehead, just baffling plays. I think Brian Callahan's going to, really dumb it down that much more for him and limit his mistakes. I think I look to see DeAndre Hopkins get a little more involved. He's kind of been quiet. I know he's coming off the injury, but I think that team is better than people realize. And I think that the Packers catching 2 is like a real sexy, seeming like easy public play. And I think the Titans win the game and cover the number.
It's one of those spreads that doesn't make a lot of sense, especially if you're looking week to week. That being said, I like where your head's at, Jack. With that Tennessee, I actually see it at 1.5 right now, so we'll give you a -1.5. I like Tennessee to cover that, and anytime we can go against the Packers, I always back that. So, on a similar note, there, I'm gonna do something I haven't done all season. I'm gonna touch the Bears game. I'm gonna go Bears +1 at Indy. Bears offense doesn't look great. Defense looks spectacular through 2 games. I think they do enough to slow down that Colts offense. And at the same time, I think if they're going to have a chance to get this offense a little right, this is going to be a decent chance for them to get things going. Only thing that worries me about this is the Colts offensive line's pretty strong. Is this the first game where the defensive line doesn't look great? I don't know. We'll see. That being said, Bears, they got to get some wins in this early part of the schedule. I'm hoping they're feeling like their back's up against the wall. Indy for sure will be feeling that way. I'm going to go Bears +1 at Indy is my second pick. That's my second pick.
Wow. Take you a little behind the curtain here. We never really discuss anything. We sort of get on and just jump right into it. But you did mention how you were like, I almost wanted to pick the Bears this week, and then you throw me a curveball and you do end up picking them. So what pushed you over the edge of making that little swap?
I had another pick written down, and while you're going through your pick, I just decided to, let's scratch through one of the other ones I got and let's go Bears. So,
love it.
Little Bears and against the Packer parlay situation going on. Sure.
I can dig it, baby. I can dig it. Something spoke to the kid. He's ready.
Yeah, for sure.
I love it. All right, my next play. I don't feel great about this one after the way that they just looked. But the Dallas Cowboys are an incredible home team in the regular season. They've won a lot of games at home down in Jerry World. They typically take care of business. As bad as they looked, they're going up against a Ravens team who just completely choked a game against Oakland or Las Vegas, excuse me. And I just think that they're going to be able to protect home field, get it done. They're +1. I'm just going to take them on the money line. It's even money on the money line. I like the Cowboys to win at home. You said before the season, your kind of bold prediction was that the Ravens are not going to make the playoffs this year. I don't know if that's going to hold to fruition. I mean, I guess if I get this right and they start 0-3, it's going to be a hell of a climb to get back into that playoff picture. But I don't know, man. Lamar Jackson has looked very poor as a passer this year already. I don't know, exactly what's going on there. You trust a guy like John Harbaugh to sort of figure it out given his tenure, but I think they're struggling right now, and a lot of people think, oh, well, they're 0-2. They're going to be desperate. It's the Ravens. They were one of the best teams ever, with all the advanced analytics last year. They're going to right the ship. They're going to figure it out. And maybe they will, but I don't think it's going to be a quick fix, man. That team does not look good. They got a lot of problems. And I think that Dallas is sort of going to be able to torch them and get it done at home. Dak hasn't really had a great game quite yet, but I think he shows up. I think they're motivated off of that little bit of an embarrassment against New Orleans over the weekend. I'm going to take Dallas on the money line.
Wow. I don't know if I would have been on the same side. I do agree, big picture. Ravens got some issues going on. I don't know if I love that spot this week, but it's on the card, and I back you with all your picks. So Dallas money line it is. My last pick of the week. I'm going back to a team that won for me in week one as a dog. They are favorites this week. I'm gonna go the Pittsburgh Steelers -1.5 at home versus the LA Chargers. Chargers, they look good through 2 weeks. They've also played the Raiders and the Panthers. I do think that big picture, Jim Harbaugh is a great coach. I'm curious to see how that defense holds up against a little bit better competition. So far, they've faced Bryce Young and Gardner Minshew. I'm not saying that Justin Fields is a huge step up by any means, but as the season progresses, I'm curious to see how that Chargers defense holds up. I don't know. I like Pittsburgh in this spot. I think their defense is for real. I think Fields is a quarterback that can do just enough for Tomlin that he could kind of find a way. I like them to cover that -1.5. Let's win by a field goal, get out of there, party on. Pittsburgh -1.5 at home versus the Chargers. It's my third pick of the week.
Yeah, both teams off to what you would probably say a little bit of surprising start, especially with how good the Chargers have looked in their wins. I guess the Raiders game was a little tight on the scoreboard, but didn't necessarily feel that way. It felt like they were always sort of in control of that game. And then obviously they dominated a piss poor Panthers team who just fucking benched Bryce Young. So it's tough to get a read on them this early. Jim Harbaugh is sort of doing his thing. But yeah, that tight of a number at home for Pittsburgh, the way they got things going. I wouldn't bet against Tomlin. Like you said, he's just too good of a coach. He's proven it time and time again. So I got nothing against that pick other than that quarterback can't get in the end zone. So
Also, real quick, side note for any of our viewers at home who might be familiar with some of our inside jokes. Does anyone know what SEC school Joe Alt went to? Because that guy's pretty good. I could have which was it, Bama or Georgia? Who knows? But man, that SEC really produces some talent. Let me tell you.
He must have went to Tennessee. I saw they're giving their tickets now 10% of the tickets are going to NIL. So that's how they
Okay.
afford those kind of guys.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, big mollywops, man. But yeah, I don't know. I just can't bet on the Steelers given the quarterback situation. But I don't think it's a horrible play by any stretch. My last pick of the week, Sick Addiction. I don't know why I'm running it back after the frustration of what I watched unfold on Sunday, being against the Steelers. But I'm going to take the Broncos again, plus
Oh
six and a
my
half
god.
down in Tampa. Maybe I'll learn my lesson this week that I don't know why I keep backing Sean Payton. I don't know why I think that they're going to be more competitive, but I just do. I watched that game top to bottom against the Seahawks and against the Steelers. Seen a good amount of the Broncos this year. And I don't know. There's something there with that team. I don't think they're going to win a lot of football games, but I do think they have the makeup to be competitive. Sertan can take away your number one weapon. They should be able to run the ball a little bit better than they have. I think Bo Nix is, figuring it out in his rookie year. And it's going to take a little time. I mean, we've seen that better than anyone with the struggles that Caleb Williams has had in Chicago. So I don't know. I think it's a little bit of a breakout game for him down in Tampa. And I think that, the Bucks are certainly riding a high right now, but they're banged up, man. They got a lot of injuries. I think it's one of those numbers that seems like, yeah, win by a touchdown and collect your check. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be more of a field goal type game. I'm not going to be so outlandish to say that the Bucks are going to find a way to cough it up, but I do think that the Broncos are going to hold their own, and I'll take the 6.5.
You are battling a strange addiction there for sure. It says something to me though if you watch both those games and that's what you're coming away with. To be honest, I have not watched the full games of the Broncos. I trust your eye. I trust that you're seeing something that you think this team's going to be tough. A tough W for a lot of teams down the stretch, like you said. Can't imagine they'll go on any kind of run and stack W's, but maybe they're a tough out for teams. Who knows? All right. My 3 picks: Pittsburgh, Minnesota, Chicago. Jack's 3 picks: Tennessee, Dallas, Moneyline, and Denver. Let's see if we can't get some wins this weekend, Jack. Maybe a little parlay for the to celebrate the wedding this weekend. That'd be nice. That'd be a great start to the married life for yours truly. But no, we're in the swing of things. It's gonna start. Week 3. It's gonna start shaping up. You're gonna start knowing what these teams are a little bit. It really feels like a lot of these teams are starting slow and not looking great. 3, 4, 5. It's time to go. You can't take too many L's in this league where there's only 17 regular season games. So we'll see what ends up happening this weekend. But as always, it was a pleasure making this video with you. Any thoughts as we head into week 3? Any last things to leave the fans with?
I think it's well said, the point you just made. I mean, no one's really doing anything in the preseason now. And it's really like these first 2 to 4 weeks of the regular season, teams know they can kind of get away, with that extra game. It really does impact the way that teams look at it. And I think they know, hey, we can get away with a little bit of struggles early. A lot of people talking about it even when the preseason was a little more serious. Early in the year, you kind of do try these things out. Let's see what works. Let's see what doesn't. You're willing to experiment just a little bit before you truly start diving into what the identity of your football team is going to be. And I think, like you said, as we get into weeks 3, 4, and moving forward, you're really going to start to see those things shape up and take effect. Unfortunately for me, I've been on the wrong side of a lot of these early opinions and plays, but hopefully, as we get more and more comfortable with what we're seeing out there week in and week out, we get ourselves on a good track and end up making a little bit of bread.
Amen, brother. All right, hit it one time for the fans.
Bears.
Like and subscribe if you're new. We'll be back with a Bears Week 3